music gets started. Funny story about this nigga. This is like one of the most well-known nigunim. And David Melech Yisrael. First time what? Okay.
Because you're
no, he's exactly. It's like the first time. Oh, I thought you're just preparing. It's 100 days till Purim today. I got this very happy email. 100 days till Purim.
This is your friend who counts down.
Yeah, he counts. I get the daily countdown. So today, 100 days till Purim. I'm like, Baruch shekivanta, achi.
Somebody from California?
No, someone from across the highway in Neve Daniel. But I'm sure there are plenty of California Yidden that are counting down Purim. So anyway, this niggun, I once had the tape, the recording of Reb Shlomo composing it. Yeah, I have a lot of his niggunim that he, when it came down, as they're coming down, it's like literally. And then when someone thinks they know that what he's trying to sing, and then they'll start singing with him, he gets so annoyed. Like he's like, I'm like, he was trying to receive. Like a lot of niggunim got messed up. People thought they knew what he was singing. They started singing with him. But this niggun, so the composition of it is like royal, regal, like a coronation of a king, mamish, like unbelievable. Morning, Simon. So I was once at a Shabbos table in Los Angeles, like I was like 16, 17. And back then, if anyone hung out with Reb Shlomo, whatever it was, I would get very excited to hear their personal story. I mean, today too, but it's just when you're a kid, it's new and fresh. It's like really hits you. So this guy says, this guy was there, and he says, "Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Shlomo. In fact, we wrote, I kind of like wrote a few songs with him. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, like what? He said, well, I'm like." I have the recording of him composing it. It sounded like it was just him. He's like, yeah, I was there. And also, no. So I'm about to make this guy my Rebbe and follow him everywhere. And then he says, but it was a little bit fishy. Anyway, then he says, yeah, there was one more also. I said, no. That's Rabbi Yisrael Rishner 190 years ago, brother. That's you just exposed your sheker. But I was hearing, like, this made me think about that recording of it when it came down, when this niggun came down. Like, would he, at that moment, did he know that every single simcha, almost every simcha in the world, people would be singing this niggun? So we just have to make sure we just don't get in the way of what Hashem wants to bring down to us. Just not to get in the way of anything. And I think that's really the point of this sefer, Chovas Hatalmidim. Not to get in the way too much of what Hashem wants to give our children. And that's like, that could be a cop-out, because that means, okay, I'm not going to get in the way. Huh?
Hands off.
Hands off. I mean, there's a Torah in Sichas Aran, Rabbi Nachman says something amazing about it. It's best if you just stay away from your child altogether. And we spent a lot of time in the parenting share learning that piece. Anyway, let's see today. We're almost there by the end of this Hakdama that's so important. And we're on page Chav Beis, and we're gonna go down to the bottom paragraph in Chav Beis. Ze Yesod HaChasidus. Sheyispal v'yislaiv ubidvarim nemuchim yatchil v'yitrakshuyot gufaniyot yisagel yitorer b'hem l'kedusha. He says the foundation of Chassidus, which is what we said, we want to turn this kid on to Chassidut at a young age, sheyitpa'el v'yitlahev, that he should have hitpa'alut, hitlahavut, he should have enthusiasm, he should be moved, he should be activated. I saw this with my father and the kids in the choir. I felt like my Abba knows how to do the activation button on getting excited about something. I saw that with all the kids that were in the choir. If you weren't here, you should have.
I saw that video.
You saw
last
Sas's
night.
video?
Oh, so great.
Simon, my
so
father
great.
runs a kids choir here now, and my whole life. I mean, when I was younger, I couldn't really understand it so much, but now I see it. What he's doing with my children, with my friends' children, that he's really causing them to actually be excited about something that is not doesn't have to do with the screen, which is a very big chiddush in today's day and age.
Sophie said it's an hour long, but it feels like 10 minutes.
That's it. No. That's
She
like
said an hour long? She goes, yeah, it feels like 10 minutes.
that's it.
And this isn't a kid who can't
Bingo.
sit still so quickly. Yeah.
No, that's he said.
Also press the buttons in the kids of the adults, meaning
The child
the
within.
child within.
Yeah.
It's very,
Especially for
very,
Shlomo who got called up.
yeah, so
Brought back to this,
I had no idea they were doing that, by the way. I didn't know they were doing that.
It gave them like a place to go. Like all of a sudden last night, Isaac started singing these songs.
Wow.
Yeah. And like not like quietly, like loud, like singing around the house. It was like
He's excited about it. He's enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
And so the Piasetzner is saying to Melamdim and to parents, he's like, you think that like chinuch is them absorbing information, right? It's like, don't you realize that chinuch is getting them excited about something? That's the beginning of chinuch. You got to get them excited. Zeh Yesod HaChasidus. So he says this is what Chassidus really is all about. Sheyispal v'yislaiv, there should be enthusiasm. Ubidvarim nemuchim yatchil, you start with little things. V'yitrakshuyot gufaniyot yisagel litorer b'hem l'kedusha. And this is a key phrase throughout all of the Rebbe's teachings, that physical emotions will begin to actually activate the awakening of spiritual, meaning the body needs to be moved like a voice. There's a physical act,
There was a great Michelle from
Bnei Machshava Tova, yeah.
He says, when your body is awakened, you should take advantage of that and he brings in a Michelle, a father whose son is in prison. And the only time he can go and visit his son is if he goes with his lawyers, right? And he said, but I don't want to go see my son because if I go, all we're going to talk about is his judgment and everything else like that. And he goes, what if the father were to waken up and realize, if I go in there with the lawyers, I can give my son a hug, a kiss, I can show him how much I love him, and I can take advantage of that opening to show this amazing love.
That's gewalt. You're taking advantage of whatever Hashem's putting in front of you. But do not belittle or underestimate the opportunity that a physical awakening causes. Can further cause in the world of chinuch. Remember, Rav Meir Shapir of Lublin, I think he instituted that. I don't remember exact. I think when I was in Lublin with Rav Weinberger, we were in the yeshiva there of Chachmei Lublin. Has anyone ever been there? He used to, when I was there as a kid, it was a nursing school. I mean, I was there when I was 16. No, they redeemed it. It's mamish. We slept there, I think. We slept nearby. Anyway, so Reb Meir Shapir of Lublin instituted that. I think that the kids would take walks every day for 20 minutes. It was part of like the Seder. If Cook wanted to institute exercise in daily curriculum. You know what? Do you know what kind of posters were put about him in Yerushalayim when he wanted to do this? The Greek mechanech, they said. The Greek mechanech and his tumadika chinuch. So they said. Rav Kook understood. He understood that a child needs to. It's not just he needs to be physically awakened for a lot of spiritual things to be available for him as well. Rav Kook understood this. And what is he called? Those that we just came out of Hanukkah, the other side, the Yevani, the mechanech ha-Yevani, the Greek educator, because they were so in Greece the whole Inyan was like, but their whole thing was meaning their whole Inyan was this admiration and idolization of it. Rav Kook saying no, it's what did he say? It's a mafteach l'neshama. It's a key to get to the soul. Second line, Ve'afim rak hitorerut gufaniti, and even if it's only a physical awakening, hanefesh teorer laruach, ve'ruach laneshama, the nefesh will arouse the spirit, and the spirit will then arouse the soul. Ve'zeh achiluk ben katan legadol, and this is the difference between an adult and a child. And again, I still can't figure out what age the Piasetzner is speaking about here, when he's speaking about a katan. I feel like we've covered already like age 2, age 5, age 7, 15, even 18. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see. החסיד הגדול, אף אם מתחיל להתעורר, להתרגש ולהתפעל מדבר גופני. So an older chassid, even when he begins to wake up and to להתרגש, להתפעל, to be touched and moved from something physical, אף בשעה שעושה פעולות גופניות, meaning while he's doing physical acts, כשתיית היין שרף בין החסידים. You know what he's saying? Basically, when he's... What does it mean, שתיית יין שרף? L'chaim. Yeah. L'chaim. It's not exactly a spiritual movement of the hand into the cup. And these are all physical things. He's saying it's a physical act that does awaken something afterwards. וכמיני המחשבos לעורר es עצמו, and like all the different thoughts to arouse himself, that means different machshavas to arouse himself. He's speaking right now about visualization. Like we'll talk about later in the Sefer. So the Rebbe says, לא יישאר בהתעוררות הגופנית לבד, רק תכף יורד את הנפש והרוח. עד שגם נשמסו תסעורר ותסגל בקרבו וכל אחד כפי מצבו כפי השעה שעומד בה. He's saying the one that's awake, the older chassid, he knows already that if he does something physical but he feels alive, he can then move that, like after a run, after a jog, or even after something as mundane as drinking a l'chaim, he can then go from there and have used that koyach he has to have a strong davening. The Mechanech says, what, a child's going to use like a choir practice to go then and learn Torah? He says, well, maybe not in the beginning, but that's how it begins. That's how it begins. Again, he's talking to the skeptical educators who don't really believe any other way other than what's worked for thousands of years, or what they think has been working for thousands of years. Maza? Right? And if they do this, it's as if they're doing something wrong. So the Piasetzner is like really forcing and stressing something over here. Gam et menorah hidliku bedavar zar. What an interesting statement. What is he speaking about? What's the menorah? The menorah in the Kodesh, right? In the base of Mikdash. So he says also the menorah was lit with something. Zar doesn't mean tameh, it just means outside. What do you think he means by that? This is a very important sentence here.
Physically, it means that they had to light a fire and then bring the fire all the way to, and it wasn't like something that the flame didn't come down from Shaman.
it didn't just happen like that. גם את המנורה הדליקו בדבר זר, אבל לא עזב את הכהן את המנורה עד שתהי שלהבת עולה גם מאליה. This is so beautiful.
He's also
This is so beautiful.
He's playing with the Nadav and Avihu at the same time, right?
This is unbelievable. The Piasetzner here is saying something amazing about chinuch. We'll get back to Nadav and Avihu in a second. I just want to discuss this for a second. He's saying that, the Kohen is supposed to be the mechanech, the educator, right? So what is he supposed to do? Yes, he has to come and nothing just happens poof like that. But the Kohen stands next to you until what? Until that flame you got to go back to the Ukraine.
Gotta clean the system.
You got to go back to the Ukraine. That didn't happen in Oman. Or you need a l'chaim, right? So he's saying over here, the Kohen wouldn't leave the menorah until the menorah would be lit on its own, and the shalhevet, the flame would go up on its own. So what's the first stage? The Kohen has to come, take fire from somewhere else, and light the menorah. So you're saying the mechanchim are thinking, you think you're just going to put information in children, and then one day it's just going to be like, you have to light a flame. You have to teach them a nigun. You have to go on a walk with them. You have to scare the daylights out of them, telling them the story of Hanukkah and Purim with theatrics, right? You got to do something. But know and believe, this kid, Ne Hashem Nishmas Adam, this kid is mamash kodesh kodashim inside. ומחכה שמישהו יבוא ויפתח את זה. Don't leave until you see the flame going on its own. So it's very clear instructions here, what the Piasetzner is doing here. So beautiful. This language he's using. והקטן יכול להישאר בהתעוררות והתרגשות גופנית. אבל גם בא מין זהרה וקו הערה דקה מן הנפש מרחוק עליה יזרח. The way it seeps up onto a child, taking from a physical excitement, then going to a spiritual excitement. He's saying, you're not going to see, it's not something, it's a thin layer upon layer. With chinuch, so what do you need in order to, basically, you need something very key, very important here, to believe and be with the process of thin layers of connecting physical excitement to spiritual excitement. And what's that thing that each mechanech needs more than anything in the world?
Patience.
Patience. Meaning the first shlav is, you have to have trust that Hashem gave you this child. Remember, the Rebbe is talking to parents too. The Rebbe gave you this child that you know how to touch this kid's neshama. But the midah of patience is something you have to beg for. Every single day. It's a midah we need to ask for all the time. Remember what the Rebbe says, or Rabbi Nachman says about the only midah Mashiach is going to come and teach us is the midah of savlanut. Yeah, that's what we need Mashiach. More than anything, I think it's just to be able to become people that are really patient, right? So at first you need bitachon, that yes, Hashem knew what He was doing when He chose to give you this child. And if you went into chinuch, Hashem knew what He was doing when He gave you this child in your cheder. So that's what I need. But then savlanus, that what? It's going to seep on slowly, daka mina daka, thin layer after thin layer. And then sometimes we witness, though, that something does go, But that's after many years of work, of layer after layer after layer. When it happens, I don't know. I know some of you have had those experiences with your children, that you see that through all the years of work and patience, this and that, something seeped in. Again, you don't attribute it to yourself. Usually you attribute it to your wives, right? And then something goes up. Midah, but it's really, if there wasn't a midah of savlanut with it, it probably has very slim chances of connecting and becoming a shalhevet she'ola me'elea. If the Kohen didn't have patience for the menorah wouldn't have ended up lighting, being lit on its own, the flames going up. But if anyone wants to give tips and pointers as to how to become patient parents, the time is now. Or if anyone just wants to cry together after shir how to do this together, we can do that afterwards as well. it seems like the latter here.
I think small steps are important, that you just acknowledge that small steps are okay, and that every little thing, I mean, like I was thinking about Ben singing at Sudah Shlishi a couple of weeks ago. Those small steps are okay, and that's good enough. Like, and a dime, like what you keep teaching us about a dime.
A dime.
You know?
Yeah.
Kelly?
Oh, yeah.
I was just say, if you want to be patient with your kids, so you have to be patient with yourself first. And that's like really, really hard. But if you can be patient with yourself, then you can understand what you're like, bring yourself back to all those places and realize where you're standing now and where you were standing then.
Yeah.
You can be patient with your kids.
What do you mean by that?
I was a little wild, let's say, when I was younger, right? And I wasn't the best student by any stretch of the imagination. And I gave my teachers a lot of grief. And so it took years before I realized, oh, all right, so maybe I've also changed. So I could say to my kids, like they're also, you know, when they were raising me, they were also not so easy to teach. Right? So it's just a different place.
I don't believe anything you just said either, but any of the really strong imagination, far imagination to see. Although, you know, he was a non-hippie with long hair growing up, right? You guys know that?
Was playing rock shows and then going home to learn Gemara. So it's
A little conflicted.
Yeah. Okay, so just this little bit, fourth line in this paragraph. Gam zot tovai. This little bit, that's like Shem said. Ki gam ba mitkasher gufo v'nafsho haktanim. Because also in that, his small body and his nefesh meet somewhere. והנער שמתרגש בליל פסח מניקיון החדר. I don't know how many of your kids are excited about cleaning their rooms for Pesach, but if you make, you know, that's the thing, you can make it into something exciting. Shlomo once said that one of the things that probably made him a Yid was seeing the way that his father would go stand on the counter and take down the Pesach ticket dishes. Made him a Yid. Seeing that hitrakshut towards something. Or you'd be like, oh, God, gotta go up there again and turning over the house, right? That language. Oh, so והנער שמתרגש בליל פסח מניקיון החדר, מן רובי הנרות ומן השולחן המסודר יפה. He gets excited, he sees suddenly the house looks different, it's very clean. Tables filled with candles. There's a new table here, it's מסודר יפה. גם כן טובו. Don't belittle that, mechanech. Mechanech, look at that kid, he gets excited by something. Use that. That's a big thing. That's an opening in his goof that goes to the nefesh. Ki gufo mitраגש מזה. His body gets excited from this. ונפשו פנימה מבצבצת ומתרגשת באמירת ההגדה לאומרה מעט בהתלהבות להשם. אף שאינו יודע מה זה ועל מה זה וזה. And you know what ends up happening afterwards, after he got excited by things that physically look different to him, like a clean table, or a new table and a house full of candles, he starts saying the Haggadah. It's a very, and he starts saying a lot of spiritual words that he says he doesn't really understand a lot what's going on. But the experience does something to the child. That's why it's like the one, we've seen this in other places about making sure we don't mess up Leil Seder. Because it's the one that you could really give over HaKadosh Baruch Hu to your children. The one night of Mochim the Gadlus. You can really give it over. So he's saying over here, again, what's the whole process he's showing us? Do not underestimate experiences that children have, even if they might be as physical as they can be, because then it leads them to something else. So what are you going to say to me now? So, I should take my child to Universal Studios. I'll make sure the tram, you guys been to Universal Studios? Do they have it in Florida too, or just LA? LA was I went there like every other Tuesday. I was there there all the time growing up. Has anyone been here? So you know the tram?
Sure.
And do you remember anything on that tram, like what you go through? Jaws.
Yeah.
Talk about your, hitrakshut or other, just a million things, right? A million, this visualization. They take you on Hollywood sets of. I remember one time I was there and John Travolta was on one of those golf carts waving to us, and then I had to go to Shir the next morning. It was amazing how much Travolta had such a more hashpah on my nefesh than, Abaya and Rava. But whatever, that's the world Hashem chose to bring me into. That's on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not on me, right? But there's so what would you say? So let's go and excite a child. And how do we know how we could excite children in today's day and age? Where should we take them to?
Movies.
The Gamra. No, Bemet. Why not? Now, why isn't Binyamin, why aren't we going to take Binyamin's advice right now?
I think that the thing that makes them up can't conflict with our beliefs and our
Right,
pessimism.
right. Nachon.
And that's where you have the problem with taking them to the movie to inspire it.
Right, unless it's
Or it's waking up the wrong thing, possibly.
right.
I think he was giving examples of physical stuff.
Right.
I mean, you're still
Nachon.
more like visual.
Movie's not right.
emotional stuff.
We're talking about like an act that a kid would be involved with in a physical. Well, Herodian, them being active.
We took the
I
kids.
think it is part of it, no?
That's definitely part of it. It's
It's part of it.
On the table,
It's
but
part of
that's
it.
not all you're receiving. I think it is more like Bush is saying. It's like it can't contradict. Like also think about the Universal Studios, right? You go, you do, right? And then it's not like you're like, okay, now that everybody's got their energy out, let's sit down and learn tomorrow. It's
Right.
wow. Now that was energy that just dispersed into the air and we'll never get back.
But I think it's also
Or
important
you
not
stop
to-
and say, let's discuss this. What are you guys feeling?
I think it's also important
You
not
think
to
so?
make the.
Could be. I don't know.
I mean, listen, I think there's definitely a space in everybody's life for pure fun, right? Like the concept of pure fun, where the fun doesn't have, it can be an end in and of itself.
Well, wait, stick to the choir because it's just right in front of us right now.
Right.
Because that's what just happened. So what do you do with that? Based on this, what do you do with that?
Teach them niggin, I don't know. Afterwards, then it's something.
I think that in the beginning he's saying, just have sablanut, like you were talking about, like I think the Rebbe's trying to tell us is, give it time for the layers to build.
Right.
You're doing it in shul, they're connecting to this.
Right. It's the context
They're
is
singing these Jewish songs,
Right.
they're connecting to a very holy person in your father, and they're proud of it, and they're excited about it, and it's connecting them to a makom,
Right.
mamash. But I can think about other examples, like I connected to my Rav in America because he played ice hockey with me, one time. And you see like these Talmidim who their Rav goes out and plays basketball with them, they might not be connected at all, and then they realize that they can relate to this guy because he plays basketball with them, and they start paying a little bit of attention.
Right,
a
the
little bit
same
more.
guy who much of the other time is learning Torah and
He's
spending
also-
time doing
yeah.
these types
Yeah,
of
no,
things.
I'm not saying
No,
that it takes
I'm
a
saying
connection
that's
through the
what
physical
helps, right,
activity,
I agree.
which I don't think has anything directly connected with the learning that they do, because it allows them to relate. It helps them relate to the. It depends on what it is. I don't know that you can do it sitting. Movies I find completely senseless. in
Well,
the
I
sense that
see
you
it.
just sit. You sit there. There's no interaction.
right. Nachon. That's what he was saying. I see it also with music. I mean, I see it all the
Sure,
time.
music.
But then the thing is, though, do I have to play Neil Young, or any, you know what I mean, in order to
Maybe.
what? No, because I think that the music itself is powerful enough.
I think there's
The
a-
act of a guitar
Answer
is
questions, so like the Lamaisa stuff. So let's say we're driving our car. My kids are older. They want to listen to their music. I want to listen to Jewish music. What do you do? What's the right thing? Do you like if you keep on drilling down them and say no, you can only listen to Jewish music, then you're gonna push them away. So like
They can listen to the Rebbe.
yeah, so that's
Let
awesome.
me ask you:
So
are
that's awesome.
they're asking to listen to James Taylor and Paul Simon, or they're asking to listen to?
I don't even know the next
Right.
to the people.
That's the thing, is that today's stimulation, a lot of it is very tumadik.
Big time.
Right.
A lot.
No, so someone
What's
will
that?
do what you're saying. I'll say listen to it on your own phone. And
Take
not
him?
on the radio.
Pizza.
Take him for pizza instead.
That's really
Pizza's big.
very big plus.
Pizza was very big in my upbringing, actually, in Los Angeles. It was.
I think the kids want to feel something. I mean, they're just like us. They actually want to feel something.
Right.
And so we put them in front of a screen or something because we're trying to give them that false sense of feeling, but they don't like. Dove and I took the kids 4-wheel driving out in the desert, I also took my kids to a movie
Did you bring
yesterday.
them back, or?
I took my kids to a movie yesterday. I guarantee you, if you asked both of my kids which was more fun, which was better, which was
Mine's
1,000,000% they would have said the four-wheel driving, and they felt. I mean, you could just see them. They were feeling so much that they want to feel something.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, so all of us know that a screen, all that stuff is numbing, but it also has a sense of like false emotional boosts. So that's what the kids are hunting after. Like, just give me something to feel. So I think that with what you're saying about music, if you brought Yosef in here with your guitar and sat down with him and started singing with him, he would have the best time of his life, no matter
Right.
what songs you were singing.
No, I was talking about older people.
Yeah. I think that it might take you.
I wanted to weigh in on that. I was going to say, like, look, you know, it depends what you're singing. We spoke about this a lot of times of like what songs within, if you're going to go to that realm of music from these people who maybe aren't aligned with what you are or what we are, right?
Can we say definitely not aligned?
Huh?
Can we say
Right. So okay, definitely not aligned. So then you're gonna pick and choose a few songs, or maybe I was gonna say like you can darshan out of like Heart of Gold, like some beautiful things. It's not like it's So as an adult, maybe we can do that. We can't.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sharing some to my chavra. I struggle with meaning. Not that I never have a need to play any of this music, but I struggle with going back and forth on this level of create. Maybe this will create a stimuli.
Right.
But at a certain point, like for Baruch Hashem, listen, in Israeli music, for Israeli kids that want to get feel music, Baruch Hashem, there's been such a revolution. Guys like Yishay Ribo and Yonatan Razel that have created this incredible feeling of hitrakshut through not bye-byes, Hasidic Nigunim, and like for whose simcha was it? Oh, Kobe Erdvarb's bar mitzvah, when they were showing the like a movie of they did like one of those videos of the kids of them growing up, and the playback was one of Rebus' songs, and the words are so deep. The words are so like very deep words, and for a child that's 12 to start singing afilu she'asinu mashu ra hu mochel v'soleh. I wish we had that. No one ever would dare even say those words. Forget about sing about it, because it's not true, kiviyachol. So we've gotten much better with providing that but us, our children, Israeli kids, American chavra with English music, we're working on it. No. I'm starting today a project that is actually has to do with English music.
Some good people. Levi Robin, Moshav has put out a lot of stuff. I mean, you had Schlapper growing up.
We're still growing up, and we're still with Shlakrak. Okay, let's do one more paragraph. Ha'alpi Darko. Remember, the whole point is that we give chinuch to a kid. Alpi Darko. That's this whole Hagdama has been based on that. Pasuk from Mishlei. Chanuch lanar alpi Darko. Ha'alpi Darko she'anu rotzim bekunsha zeh lehargil es bnei hanoar b'darkei chasidus nechutza hi lahem ve'i efshar lahem acheres. What we're trying to provide for a child, finding their own inyan of connecting through some kind of yesod chasidus, they need it, and they can't make it in this world without it. Why? Because of the reason we learned last month. Because they're going through some level of spiritual puberty much earlier in age than they did ever before, with the expression of ideas and thoughts and legitimization of their self sense of yesh li mashu la'agid kvar. I already have something to say, huh? And this is 1932. Ve'afim lo yiskashu be'etzem nishmasam ve'lo yislavu nafshiyas amitiyas ve'gufanias gam ken tovu. And even if you can't take these kids yet and tell them a Torah from Reb Nachman that's going to make them feel anything, but you have some kind of a physical stimuli that does meet I like what you said before, Moshe, that doesn't contradict our morals, our ethics, whatever it is, our beliefs. Gamken tofu, patience, it's good. Seeps in 4-wheel drive, Midbar Yehuda, goes inside. Kevan sheme'ak dusha mitragesh, because whether he realizes it or not, he is being excited and moved by something in the context of kedusha.
And he's talking again and again. All the excitements that he's talking about very specific things like the cleaning of the house. Like, it's not going to play basketball. I mean, maybe that's good too, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
Doesn't seem like it over here.
Things b'kedusha, all these, whatever it is,
right?
Like the clean of the lichot Shabbos, whatever. I don't know what he's doing.
Nachon.
Has to do in contact with the kedusha.
Building a sukkah.
Whatever
buying
it is,
physical.
But to find what makes him excited in kedusha and thrive on that, even if it's physical, it doesn't make it.
Correct. I think you're mamash mechaven. Now the question gets even more. So what age do you think he's speaking about over here? This could be now any age.
This could be 3-year-old.
It could be 3. It could be 15. Nachon.
It could be.
And also, where's the give me a Tuesday afternoon after school where that can apply to.
Eretz Kodesh.
Okay. No, okay, so I'm
That's what I'm saying. Eretz Kodesh. You can take everything. Little teal.
Look, you know, I'm all about that, but. You know how many? You have to mix it up. And that has to be exciting.
It's not coming. Obviously, basketball. I'm not sure he's saying against basketball. Basketball is.
He was actually more into tennis.
I wasn't saying basketball by itself. I was saying basketball with the Rebbe, so next to him with the Rebbe.
Yeah, he's talking about pairing though, right? Like he's talking about, picture this, the kids have just exercised, they play basketball, they had a great time, they're really excited, and now they're sitting down with Shira and the Rebbe's talking about the Navi. Like, they did an amazing study before. They used to have rules on psychological studies where they put an attractive woman on a bridge, okay, and she was supposed to be an interviewer for a job, and these people were sent out on this wobbly bridge, and they had to go through this interview. And afterwards, they were asked questions not connected to it. They said, "How was the connection between you and this woman?" And everybody thought they had this amazing connection. It was connected to fear. You're on a wobbly bridge, you could fall to your death, and basically the study was coming to show that when your emotions are peaked, then other emotions get blended, right? And then suddenly these people felt that this woman was a paid, person just to be there and to be part of the experiment. They felt there was a real emotive connection. There was nothing. Same thing if you go and you see a scary movie, and then afterwards, and it's a date, and afterwards you're walking home, you're going to feel more connected to this person because you went through an emotional trauma with them.
That actually.
That's the move.
No, I'll tell you. Today's sharing. Today's open. I never ever watched a horror movie my whole life, besides one weird Tuesday afternoon. I don't even know what the context was. I was living in Rechavia. I have no idea why I watched a horror flick. And I was completely taken by it, and then I went on a date. And the whole time, and it was, I think, probably pizza something, and I remember every movement of cheese coming off, so I don't know if it's the greatest, I don't know your experiences with watching horror movies and...
Anyways, he's talking about emotional pairing, though.
Right.
The idea of now that you felt the excitement of sport, and you're sitting down in shul, and that excitement extends.
Yeah.
I think you have to be careful too, though, because I think kids are super smart, and if your kids always feel like, okay, yeah, Dad's out playing basketball with me, but I know that there's an agenda, and the agenda, as soon as it's over, it's like, all right, let's hit the book. They'll stop going. Then they don't even want to hang out with you anymore. Yeah. Then they're like, forget it, I'm not playing basketball with you. That means an hour of Gemara afterwards.
I like the route Dove went with this, where you're connecting the guy who played ice hockey, but this is the same guy who is very serious about his relationship with Hashem, and he's for real about it. And you're like, wow, this guy can do that and that. Okay, so maybe I want some more of the other things he's doing.
I think the important thing is we have to be living it and excited about it.
Right.
Because the best thing that you can give is how our kids watch us do things. So it means whatever we're doing. So if we're cleaning up before Shabbos, and we're saying it's a drag, and our kids feel it's a drag. But if you're singing and you're so excited and whatever, then your kids will be excited because they're gonna learn that from you. So I think the best thing is us to do it with our excitement and our passion.
Physical
So it's not
excitement, right?
necessarily basketball to relate to them or this to relate to them. It could be relating through anything mundane, but it has to be through seeing us happy.
As
and
a
excited.
parent, that's
But if you see
easier.
us
As a
unhappy,
mechanech, it's different.
kids just
As
wanna
a
be
parent,
happy.
that's
They wanna
easier.
connect.
They automatically want to connect with you because they're
As
Abba.
an educator, it's
As
a little
an
bit
educator,
harder.
it's harder.
Well, it's harder also because a parent is one on
Whatever.
Right, I guess I was thinking about it.
8
from
to
what
4.
It also depends
Not
on
one
the
on
child.
35,
Like, one
yeah.
child might
I
connect
guess I was
through basketball, one might connect through singing, another one might
I'm
connect through
definitely as a
drawing.
parent.
Like, each
I
child,
agree.
I'll be Darko. You have to
My son
find
was already
their
in school.
the way to unlock them.
Loves. He could be teaching anything. It doesn't make a difference. He loves him. You know what I mean? So like, he ran back to school. He was waiting out of the bus for like 40 minutes to get back because he heard that he was giving a shiur that night. They didn't know if he was getting it. Like he went back. He doesn't care. He just wants to be around him. So I
That's
think
beautiful.
That there is a part of the mechanech is
He
loving.
also has to have the excitement, but it's just that it works differently.
I think
He
that
also has to have the excitement.
one of the things
The
that
mechanech. Yeah,
in-
the mechanech has to have that excitement.
in learning-
So he's talking about how do you say a bracha in the morning, or how do you eat breakfast, or being healthy.
I tell you, I think that with mechanechim, if you see them getting excited over what they're teaching, will work much more powerful than almost anything else.
That's probably where the whole patience thing comes in. If the mechanich's not patient, then he can't really. If you're patient, you can be excited because you're in the
It's true.
moment.
It's
But
true.
if you're not patient, you're not in the moment.
I'd say it's the other way around. And if you're excited,
Oh yeah.
You mentioned earlier Pesach, okay? And
Right.
I always find that the kids who are putting together their Haggadah in school and all these questions, and of course the 4 questions, okay?
Right.
But when they get to the Pesach table, they're really excited
Yeah.
because they want to use their book, what they put together,
Yeah.
in order to, contribute to these things.
Absolutely. I see that with my kids.
Give them a sitter and say, read from this.
Absolutely.
I got it from this.
A $1,000,000%.
Get part of it.
They get moved by that, but by their physical activities with it, they get moved with it very much.
I need help.
Very
I
much.
know you want to continue. I know you have. What?
Have to run.
Okay,
I
go
have
for
to
it,
run.
go
I'm
for it.
sorry.
I'll ask you better after. No, I know. It's not nice. Go for it.
If you want to go maybe after a party of crying.
Yeah, if you know it, and that's how I
patience,
continue.
you
Good,
can
I'm
go.
glad you know it.
כיוון שמהקדושה היא מסרקש. יסרקשס גופניס מהקדושה בא מסקשה. וכשיגדל, when that kid that had a patient mechanech, or a patient father, that was okay with the small layers, right? When that kid gets older, יקל לו להיות חסיד אמיתי. It'll be easier for him to be a true emes dika chassid when he gets older. והאם הנער המתחיל גמרא ותוספות מבין אותם כמו שמבין הגדול? Where the kid that's starting to learn, ממש, אלו מציאות שלו, אלו he's starting במציאות, right? He's starting, whatever the Gemara is, he's learning. You think he understands Rashi Tosfos when he's starting to learn? Like an older person? Mikol makom gam zeh tovu, but you know what? We don't compare the comprehension of a child to that of an older person. We say that's also good, even if a little bit seeps in. וגם בלימודו והבנתו זו מתקשר הוא בתורה. So the Piasetzner is saying to the Mechanchim, this kid that you may think he's not absorbing on an informational level the way you'd like him to, as long as there's activation and there's some kind of excitement being drawn, even if he might not get 100 on a test or 90, we care much more about him feeling that he's mitragesh regarding something that has to do with Torah. So your level, mechanech, of what's considered a hatzlacha or not, reevaluate the way that you, if they were doing this back then, present report cards. How do you, report cards are a malek. Kipshuto. The way report cards are in our system is choshech. There needs to be some level of evaluation, not the way they're doing it, not the way it is now. I feel like that's what he's saying to them. If your kid gets excited, even if he doesn't understand that much and he can't do that well on test, but he's excited about something that has to do with Kedusha, you're in a report card evaluating this kid, you need to really understand what kind of mechanech you want to be and what kind of a parent you want to be as well. Then the real big trap is when we compare our children's dedication to Torah and mitzvahs to when we see other kids, how they are, and all those things, very, very scary stuff that everyone falls into. Anyway, Hashem should help us with that too, and we'll continue with Hashem.
Yeah.